Hi, this is Rich and welcome to my blog. Today let's talk about what happens after you die. Okay, let's just kick this around. Okay, I have some viewpoints, opinions, thoughts, philosophy, theories, some personal experience. Yeah, do I look dead to you? Yeah, I died. I know. No, I have not had a near-death experience in this life. No. But I have recalled a considerable amount of past lives. So, there's that. But, let's just talk about it, okay? And share your thoughts and opinions, beliefs, theories, too. Okay? But, the real point of this video and this bringing this subject up is because the average person is only going to live for about 80-ish years if they're freaking lucky. Okay? And then we're out of here. What then? Okay? Now there has not been a lot of good discussion and conversation on this topic of what then. You've got 80 little years in this vast timeline of existence. So it seems to me that it's important to know, or at least consider, what were you doing before you got here, and what are you going to do when you leave? Okay? And how does that all work? Okay? So, let's just talk about it. The way it works, as I understand it, is that the first thing to know is that you do not get smarter just because you drop dead. You don't get smarter. You don't just like, body's dead. Oh, I get it. Ah, I understand now. No. You drop dead. Your body drops dead. You're still awake. You go, what just happened? What? And then the rest of your eternity depends on what you know and understand in the now, in this moment of, uh-oh, body's dead, uh-oh, or it's, yay, I'm out of that freaking prison. Okay? So, how does it work? Philosophies, theories, what other people have talked about and shared, my thoughts and opinions, your thoughts and opinions, right down here. Share with the other people that read this shit. Okay? And let's just kind of talk it up. So, let's start with Robert Monroe and Journeys Out of Body. Because Robert Monroe was pretty good at getting out of body and knowing what life is like, or can be like for some people, beyond the physical life and physical world experience. Does looking at Robert Monroe's after or between lives or out-of-body experiences absolutely determine what your life is going to be like after your body dies? No. But it's a place to start. So, what Robert Monroe basically discovered or understood was the concept of belief system territories. So, you have a belief system, and when you die, you will gravitate or manifest yourself in your belief system territory or your new reality, based upon what you believe. And if you're so we have many options. So there's going to be different kinds of afterlife experiences, and what you do after this life is going to be, or quite possibly, way different from anybody else. Or your beliefs might have you believing what most people believe in a given religion or a given philosophy, and you will manifest yourself in a reality system or a belief system territory that fulfills those beliefs and requirements. Another way to put it is that from Robert Monroe's perspective and philosophy, and I liked his take on things because I read his books. I had out-of-body experiences much like the ones he had, and for me, his experiences confirmed the reality of mine, and my own out-of-body experiences confirmed the reality or the realness or the actuality of his. And then I read other people's out-of-body experiences, and I used to really be into this whole out-of-body thing, and I have lots and lots of books on the subject, and I've done a lot of research and a lot of study on this out-of-body thing, which means life in other realms, in other planes of existence, in other densities. So this is where my opinions and philosophy comes from. Okay, but it doesn't mean it's going to be right for you. But yeah, the idea is to talk it up, because if you do not live forever in this physical body, something's going to happen to it, and you're going to be out there doing your thing. So what's to expect, and what's to prepare for, or is there anything you can do right now that will ensure or help you get to a better place that you like? Okay? Alright. So, when Robert Monroe talks about this stuff, we have the belief system territory. And he made it clear to me that if you are of a particular religious inclination, what you believe, or what that religion believes about the afterlife, there are going to be thousands, probably thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people who believe what you do about the religious afterlife story. And because the religion teaches it and people believe it, what you get is a mass consciousness that creates this life experience and reality after physical life. Because, in fact, when we talk about afterlife, it's really just after our experience in the physical universe. It's not really afterlife. We are the life in this of the party here, and what happens after the physical body dies is we move on and engage ourselves in the next life experience in a different plane, density, reality, or realm. Okay? Alright. Now, so the Catholics, there's more than the base, generally broad strokes, the Catholics have a certain belief how this works. They're probably going to meet the people they believe they're going to meet, or the angels or the archangels, and the heaven world is going to look like they expect it to look. And there's going to be millions of people who believe in that. And that means millions of people are going to create these belief system territories or religious realms. Okay? So people will find themselves in a place after this life with like-minded individuals who believe what they believe and have a similar spiritual vibration. Love, hate, somewhere in the middle. You will find yourself in a realm that matches your own spiritual vibration, okay, your heart vibration and your intent. So knowing this, or if you're buying into this philosophy, you can change or tweak where you can find yourself after this life, in your new life after physical life, by virtue of your intent, your love versus hate vibrations, and your beliefs. Okay? Alright. So the Muslims will, when they die here, they will go in and experience their Muslim belief system of life after death. Same with the Hindu and the Baptist and the Christian and the Buddhist, like that. Okay, so this is if you've got the religious thing going. And then there's the different New Age philosophies of what's going to happen after this life. So you will, if you believe in some other kind of afterlife experience, you are likely to experience that. Okay? So, and we're just kicking this around, talking about this, like, yeah, what about this, Rich, and what about that? Yeah, let's talk about that. What about the ETs? What about the in-between lives traps? What and implants? And what about this meeting up with the archons and this life review thing, and then getting tricked into reincarnating? Yeah, we'll talk about that. Because I want to. I think it's important. So, let's just bring that up right now and talk about that. Not everybody, when they drop dead, are going to experience this issue of, bright light and go to the light decision. No, some people are just going to, after this body's gone, they're going to look around, oh, what just happened? And it's like, millions of people, millions of different scenarios. But one could be simply, uh-oh, look, oh, the body's dead. You're completely comfortable, you're not alarmed, because you're still wide awake and aware, and your mental and spiritual demeanor, or your presence, you're not shook up by it. It's just like, oh, and there's what you know. Like, if you haven't been programmed to believe certain things, you will believe or know other things about your experience. And you go, oh, and you might actually feel some relief and no sense of loss or tragedy or anything. It's more like, oh, okay, what's next? And then what is next is whatever you're thinking, believing, feeling, or focusing on. Okay? So you may have a philosophy that you will gravitate to an afterlife experience with friends and loved ones and family, spiritual family. And you will. You will arrive in your realm, your belief system territory, or you could call it your heaven world or your afterlife world, whatever. But there you'll be. But somebody else might die, same day, same time, same big train wreck, and they are going to see the light, go to the light, do a life review, connect with their spiritual teachers, and choose to learn in their afterlife experience for a little while, and then choose to reincarnate into the physical world. A lot of beings will do that. Okay? Other beings drop dead, they're going to go, what just happened? And they're going to freak out, they're going to not be very sophisticated or educated on this stuff, and they might just go back to their old digs, and they will try to talk to people who are still alive, and they might wander around their own house. Let's say they lived alone, and wondering why the neighbors won't talk to them anymore. This individual is seriously ignorant of what can happen, and thus walk around and haunt their own freaking house, and maybe not even know they are doing that. Okay? So they didn't get smarter just because they dropped dead. Some beings and this is just my personal opinion, okay, and my understanding of things. See, over the last 20 or more years, I've been doing this out-of-body stuff and writing about it, making videos and stuff. And people write back to me about their own out-of-body experiences. And then when we talk about past lives and past life recall, and I've given other people's past life sessions, and oftentimes we're covering their past life, where they died. And then the recall continues into what happened after they died. So this gives us some perspective too. And just all kinds of things can go on. One very interesting thing that can happen is that, let's say, an extraterrestrial, an ET, living in what we might call fourth density as their... No, let's not go there. An ET spacecraft, third density, you can see them up there. Crash. They crash their ship. They die. Okay, now they are a discarnate being on planet Earth. What do I do? I've heard stories that there have been there's an energy field around the planet that keeps beings from being able to leave for good and get out of here. That if that was true, there have been ways around it. Different beings are not affected by that energy field and are not stuck into reincarnating, while others would be stuck in the reincarnational thing because they are affected by this energy field around the planet. There's that. But there's also the fact that this energy field that has been put around the planet to contain or keep beings after they drop dead from leaving the sphere and the influence of planet Earth, either third density or fourth density or fifth density. That, if that was true, that field is broken up. It's disengaged, dismantled, turned off, switched off, or it's got lots of holes in it. Dysfunctional. Something. Okay? So there's that. So let's just say an ET in a third density physical universe spacecraft accidentally crashes his ship here, him and his crew die. Or he's by himself and he dies. So he's going to be wandering around going, oh, what do I do now? They can incarnate into a human body. And like everybody else that gets born into a human body, they go blank. You got mind wipe, amnesia, no memory. Okay. Or not. An ET could be born into this life, whether spacecraft crashes or some other reason, born into a physical body and not get the amnesia that the rest of us get. And this is where you find these stories, little kids that remember their past lives. Little kids are still in communication with other beings in different densities. And as they grow older, they may or may not lose their connection with these entities or beings or friends or family from another density. Or they may or may not lose their memory of their past life experience. But here they are, they've dropped dead, they decided to reincarnate into the physical world, and now here they are. So let's say they live 80 years and they drop dead. These beings might choose to go back home or back to their home planet. And if they can get past this energy field that used to be here containing the beings on planet Earth, and I believe that anybody can get past that real or imagined energy field that may or may, I believe it was here, But I believe different kinds of people can just go right through it. Not a problem. Lots of people, lots of us can do this. So it's never been our problem, but we read about it. This energy field around planet Earth. Yeah, for some, they're affected by it. For others, not. Okay. So, E.T. lives a life as a human being, drops dead after 80 years, leaves. His afterlife, fully aware, he's got his belief systems. I know who I am and what I am. I am not a local earthling here. I live in an earth physical universe, human body for a little while, and I'm out of here. So he can go back to his home planet in the astral or in the non-physical realm and do what he does to get reborn into the physical universe, into his extraterrestrial ET body type, if he so chooses, or if she so chooses to do that. Same, but just as easily, a being like that can choose to not reincarnate into the physical universe ever again. Okay? So there's that. So that brings up the next thing. What's to do after you die is you've got a basic choice: incarnate again into the physical world, third density physical reality, or not. Okay? If you choose not to reincarnate into the physical world ever again, that's perfectly okay. If you've had enough of this place, good for you. We live in a multi-dimensional reality system, or a multiverse. There are many, just unfathomable amount of alternate or parallel universes or realities populated with beings. And there's one basic one, I like to call it the greater reality. It's the what we call fourth density reality. It's very much like the physical universe experience, except not. It's higher vibration. In my experience of it, it's like living in a universe, with planets and stars and spaceships and ETs and electronics and cars, everything. But the difference is, and it depends on your level of consciousness and ability and awareness in this fourth density life reality experience. Depending on your spiritual growth, overall development and growth and understanding of life in the multiverse, in these higher planes like fourth density reality, you could be what you would call in this life, if you saw one walking around here, it'd be like an avatar, like a mage, a magician, a person with great powerful magic and ability, or a superhero abilities in fourth density reality. In other words, you may be able to go and live in a fourth density reality belief system territory. You might choose the greater reality called fourth density reality as your primary belief system territory. It's huge, okay? But let's say that's what you choose. Now you may or may not be able to walk and fly and walk through walls and do other magical things when you get to your next life, afterlife, belief system territory, greater reality, or fourth density reality experience. Okay. Wherever you go, you may or may not be able to fly. You may or may not be able to walk through the walls. You may or may not be able to teleport yourself through consciousness shifting out of that reality. out of that universe into another reality system, another universe, another dimension, plane. You may or may not be able to do that sort of thing after you die and leave this plane. Okay? You may or may not get suckered in to a life review, going to the light, talking to the angels and the angelic beings that you might encounter, believe their fucking story, and you may or may not believe yourself to be unworthy of your greatness, to be a multi-dimensional, fully conscious being traveling the multiverse free as a freaking bird. You may or may not believe in that shit. Your belief systems will affect you. So, if you're into your religion and into your God, and believing somebody else is the great God and not you, all the God stuff is within you. Big long conversation about God. Let's not go there right now. I'm just saying that when you leave here, you have choices, you have options. And it depends on what you believe and what you think right now about the afterlife. So it's very important that, if you're interested, if what you're going to be doing after you leave this world, after your physical body drops dead, and you may not even believe that. You might be going with hey, I'm going to live forever in my physical body. I believe in this this ascension experience. My physical body is going to ascend and it's going to be immortal. If that's you, that's fine. I'm just saying, that's not me. I don't need to hang on to one body that, well, again, it would be a long conversation if this body stayed immortal. It's like, what? When you shift into fourth density reality, a person like me and a lot of you, a lot of viewers, if you're into out-of-body experiences and you're attuned to this sort of thing anyway, you're probably, you're in touch with your greatness. And you can, when you leave this plane of existence, you're going to be aware enough, you're going to literally be able to shape-shift your body, make it look young, old, in between, male, female, in between, androgynous, whatever your choice. And you will be able to teleport yourself in consciousness, shift from literally one universe to another, one reality system to another, one belief system territory to another. That's what Robert Monroe was doing when he was going out of body. I didn't understand the whole thing when I was reading the book, but that's what he was doing. At the time, I didn't understand it. I get it now. So I started having my own out-of-body experiences, and I got to where I can shift in consciousness. We call it an out-of-body experience, but it's consciousness shifting. And you literally, when you consciousness shift, it's not that you're not moving. The universe around you shifts, and you're in a new plane, density, reality, or whatever you call it. If you have this kind of think and philosophy going on in your head, you feel like there's this kind of potential within you, you're in real good shape when the body dies, if this physical body croaks on you. Okay? You will not get caught up in a belief system territory. And I say, study the subjects about out-of-body experiences, past lives, in-between lives, learn everything you can about it, draw some conclusions, and empower yourself with your own personal beliefs. Because with all the studies I've done and all the books I've read and stories I've read about people who have dropped dead, lived in their afterlife, and were telepathic and had a telepathic psychic link to a person in the physical world, then they've channeled their book, their story about what it's like in the higher planes. Okay? And they're channeling some stories about the belief system territories that they found themselves in. They didn't call them belief system territories. That's just Robert Monroe's label. But, they find themselves in the hell worlds, the heaven worlds, just the lower astral purgatory, whatever the labels, right? But different beings would find themselves in these worlds. It's their afterlife universe. And some of the beings who drop dead and share their story from the other side, channeling through a person who can write the story. You know, they can hear it in their head, or they can type it through their fingers, or talk it out of their mouth. But anyway, the story is coming from the person in that other world, in another non-physical realm. And they're not able to leave that realm. They are trapped in their afterlife reality system, just like we are trapped in this reality system. Most people that live in the physical world cannot leave the physical world knowingly, wide awake, and remember having done so, and go, wow, I'm multidimensionally conscious. Wow. No. You go to sleep, you have some dreams, you hardly remember them, you wake up in the morning and you go, what was that? Or you almost have an out-of-body experience and it scares the shit out of you. And you go, oh, I don't want to do that. Or you might go, oh, I got to do that again. I mean, this is cool. Yeah, different people, different emotional reactions to the whole out-of-body consciousness shift thing into other realms. But when I start going out of body, I would start going into these other dimensions, these other universes. And it's not an astral life. It's not the astral plane. It's like something different. You can just sense and feel, this is too vast. This is too big. No, this isn't that. That whole astral plane thing with the levels of the astral, lower astral, middle astral, you know, causal, mental, emotional, you know, all this. That's. I'm not to say that does not exist. But that's just a very limited understanding of the vastness of the multiverse. And if your belief system is that New Age, metaphysical, astral plane, subplanes, blah, 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 and that's all you got, that's all you believe, then your beliefs in your afterlife will affect you, and you will find yourself in your reality system. And it may very well be one of the astral planes, mental, causal, whatever, and that's what you get. Okay, but that will be up to you and your belief systems and what you think, feel, and how you vibrate after this body expires. Okay, so it's a very, I believe, a very important subject. It's like, what happens after we freaking die, and why does it happen? Okay, so a few things to look out for, watch out for, and not do is go to the light. Okay? You probably heard that, and you've heard me say it. Robert Morningsky talks about it. Many different people talk about it. I say many. I've heard about maybe 3 or 4. But, yeah. So another thing that can happen on the downside, see, this downside negative shit that could happen to you after you die won't happen if you understand and you get it. You understand what can happen and why. Okay? And you change your beliefs. Let's go to the light thing. How that works? Well, I should make another video about that another day. But briefly, people can drop dead, see a light, and they just, it's ingrained, it's implanted, it's like post-hypnotic suggestions and stuff. When you die, you will go to the light. That's the place to go. Go to the light. Everything will be fine. Just go to the light. And we kind of get drawn to the light anyway. It's just a natural thing about us. Like moths going to the light, bugs in the night, a light, and you get senseless, burn up, fried in the light. The thing is, this is a story. This is a belief. Okay. Is it true? Not true? That's up to you to decide. But there are beings that want to catch us and keep us reincarnating in the physical universe. Okay? They're called archons. And they are cons. They are con artists. They're not as powerful, strong, or creative in spirit and consciousness as we are, but they are very clever and manipulative, and if they can get us to believe things and agree to things that empower them and disempower us, they will do it. And they feed off of our energy. They're parasitic beings, okay? And as a turn of phrase, they're called archons, also known as ankle biters, because they're like little fleas. They're parasitic beings. But they want to get as many people as they can reincarnating, because they feed off our life energy, our negative, painful, stress, worry, concern, fear, anxiety energies when we are in physical form. So they want to keep us coming back into physical form. Okay? So they got a little setup going where you drop dead, you'll see the light, you're supposed to go to the light, and literally it's a they're going to take you and they're going to continue their manipulation. See, the story is that before you were born they did this to you, and now you live your life and you drop dead, and here they are, they're going to do it again. They keep catching people and re-implanting them, or reinforcing the prior agreements that they got you to make. So they get you to agree to things and get you to believe things. So we've got vast amounts of people on planet Earth believing in these stories where drop dead, go to the light, and you will be taught by spiritual masters and loving beings. And you can believe that if you want, but I don't. I don't. You can believe that they're spiritual masters and they're loving beings, and they're here to help you, and they're going to give you a life review. And you look at your life and you say, oh yeah, I should go back. They're getting your agreement to come back here. But I'm getting off the story here. This is a whole other subject about the between lives implants, the go to the light thing, and blah, 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 blah. I'm just saying, to wrap this up, there are things to know or to consider about your afterlife. And knowing these things can literally change forever your afterlife. You can be free of this place. If you don't like this place, if you don't think this is a good way to live and it's not wholesome for spiritual beings to live on a daily basis in this absolutely crazy, messed up, painful, miserable social system that we have on planet Earth, and our thinking is messed up, you can't go to sleep at night, you can't remember what you did until you wake up, and then you don't know what you did before you were born. People don't really have a clear understanding of what's going to happen after they die. It's just, if this isn't for you, understandable, because there is a greater life and greater realities, and there is greatness to be experienced if you break free of this craziness we call life in third density physical universe reality on Earth as humans. Okay, you can break. So yeah, give it some thought, do your own research and study, and lastly, to break free of this, if you've got beliefs that are locked in, well, how do I change my beliefs, Rich? Well, the way you change your beliefs is understand that you believe it because you agree that it's believable, or you agree that you believe it, whatever it is. If you do not agree that you believe something, then you won't believe it. So it's not really about the belief to change, that you need to change. If you have limiting beliefs about your afterlife or what happens when you die, yeah, sure, look at all your beliefs. But the next step is to notice that you agree that those things are what you believe. And then you render null and void the agreement that you believe it. See, instead of just canceling the agreement, or instead of trying to release the belief, you undercut that. You go right under the belief. There's the belief. You go under that, and you've agreed to believe it. And so you look at the agreement, and then you revoke the agreement. You cancel the agreement. You render the agreement null and void. And some of these basic agreements you made before you incarnated into this physical life now, and it's called a soul contract agreement. So the thing to do, or one of the things to do, many different things to do, one more tool in your toolbox for spiritual growth and development is to learn how to revoke these soul contracts, agreements. Find them, spot them, revoke them. And it opens up your life to a greater afterlife forever. All right. Okay. Thank you for listening. And I would love to hear your thoughts and philosophies. And if you have any memories of between lives or your past lives or life after death, or you had near-death experiences or out-of-body experiences, any clues that you can share with me and the other readers who read this stuff, share your story. And it helps people shift what they believe and change what they believe and how they believe, so that we can all get greater and greater spiritual freedom as we learn and grow, and understand life and experience, especially on planet Earth, and how to get out of here and hopefully never come back if that's your choice. Okay? Alright. Thanks again for watching. For more information about soul contract revocation training, go to my site, richwest.net, and I coach you and teach you how to do it. Okay? Alright. I'll talk to you later.